Welcome to the Attic Manadad here. It's the channel where we explore what's fun in Magic, mostly on Arena, as long as I can get all my streaming stuff in a row. It's been a hot minute since we've done a Meta Mondays, but of course that's because Edge of Eternities just came out last week, so the meta has been in crazy flux, and I hope you've enjoyed the videos I put out last week using some of the new cards, and there's more to come. But right now it's Monday. It's the time where we go through and we see what everyone else is playing, and we think about what might be the decks to play in the week ahead. So, starting out with Standard on MTG Arena, we will peek into MTG Online and maybe some paper results if we've got them. So let's take a look at what's going on in Standard and popularity. Tifa Landfall. You know, you could do Landfall without Tifa, I guess, but the Tifa Landfall decks with the Chocobos have been quite popular. You can see this is data from untap.gg, which I pay for so you don't have to. And untap.gg, unfortunately, is doing this weird thing where they're not showing this graph very readably, but I will try to communicate it to you if you have problems seeing it on the screen. What we're seeing here is mono green landfall ever since mid-July has just been the most popular deck. It got really popular when Edge of Eternities came out here until the rotation. Well, that was the rotation into the new what do they call this? Yeah, the new month, the new reset of the rankings, and here it's still far and away the most popular. As you can see today, 13%. Mono white life gain, not too far behind, and I do have a white life gain deck tech out if you want to see that in action. But if you look at the win rate, mono green landfall nowhere to be found in terms of win rate. So these are all very compressed. So I'm not sure we can see what exactly is going on other than here, if I read the stats. Jeskai control at 58.3%. Mono red aggro very close behind, 58.1%. So despite having a bunch of cards banned very recently, and I guess maybe that where everything changed over? Mono red go down after stuff was banned, or maybe not. So despite having those cards banned, doing very well. Selesnya Rabbits, perennial favorite and best of one on Arena. Mono white life gain. Then mono green landfall is apparently the number 5 most winning deck according to that, but here it's showing Jeskai control, Dimir midrange, Boros burn all up in there. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the stats on Untapped. It would make sense to me that Jeskai control and Dimir midrange would be the best win rates, and Boros burn, mono red agno, Selesnya Rabbits, mono white life gain, Gruul landfall there at number 7, and Esper Mill. And I do have the not even Esper Mill, just the blueback Dimir Mill deck queued up. Gonna do a video on that hopefully soon. But yes, in terms of popularity, mono green landfall far and away the most popular. So let's switch over to best of 3, because if you're playing in your FNM, or if you're playing in Magic Online, or you're playing best of 3 on Arena, that's probably the better reflection of what is doing well. And Gruul landfall is doing quite well in terms of win rate. So not as popular. Number 7 in popularity, Esper Pixie and Is It Vivi and Dimir Midrange 1, 2, and 3. Those are all decks we knew would be good after the bans. Orzhov Sacrifice is probably a little bit more recent because it's got Sephiroth in it. But here, in terms of win rate, you should be playing Gruul Landfall. You don't usually see above 60% win rates in Standard. Usually the metagame adapts pretty quickly, but look at this. We got a 60.5, a 60.4, a 60.4, and a 60.3, and a 59.6, and another 59.6. So a lot of people are winning big, I guess, probably because it's early in the Edge of Eternities format and people are trying out new stuff and their deck lists aren't tuned yet. So there's a lot of people just happy to lose, but test out the new cards. And if you're willing to play something like Gruul Landfall, you can really dominate And if we flip over and look at how the standard metagame looks on MTG Goldfish, which is based more on MTG Online, but also has paper results, we see Dimir mid-range with a comfortable lead in the metagame. Is it Cauldron? Is it Prowess? Esper Self-Mounts? Azorius Control? Rounding out the top 5. I did have a new Azorius Control deck tech if you want to check out what Control kind of is looking like in the new standard. In terms of recent 5-0s, quite a few different things. A couple Is It Prowesses and one Is It Cauldron, which I'm not sure how much that's different than Is It Prowess, how they split that out exactly, but pretty interesting variation here. And then going back further into the weekend, we got Is It Prowess, Steamer Landfall, Naya Yuna, Esper Self Bounce. So metagame summary looks like Is It Cauldron, whatever they're calling Is It Cauldron. Let's take a look at an Is It Cauldron. Here's a 5-0 list. So it's a Marauding Mako, a couple Draconautics Engineers, Fear of Missing Out, 1 Steam Core Scholar, 3 Tursa Light Shatters, of course 4 VVs, 4 Soul Cauldrons, Winter Night Stories is in there, a Braid, Torch the Tower, Into the Flood Maw, and Prophet's Eidetic Memory, 4 of those. So it's kind of aggro. 22 lands, and there's the sideboard there. So that's what they're calling Is It Cauldron. And then I guess Is It Prowess is slightly different because it's got Draycatcher and Crash Through, Into the Flood Maw, Sleight of Hand, Astrologian's Planisphere, Storm Chaser's Talent, Roaring Furnace. Okay, I guess these deck lists are different enough. Everything's still with the 4 VV in the main, so start taking your bets on when VV's going to get banned, I guess. And I was trying to see, oh, here's more standard results. So yeah, looks like there was a challenge that was won by Is It Cauldron. So Is It Cauldron should be quite popular this week. And there's another standard challenge that was won by Is It Cauldron. So I'm guessing people will be running a lot of Is It Cauldron. And there's something called Jaffer's Mini Mosh, which looked like had a bunch of 4-1s. Esper Bounce, Esper Pixie, Dimir Midrange, Teamer Otters, Boros Mice. So lots to explore in the new standard. We got a whole new set with Edge of Eternities. A lot of things rotated out. And stuff is still settling, it looks like. So in terms of what I like, obviously Dimir Midrange was good, remains good. But these Is It decks are something to keep an eye on for sure. All right, let's switch back to the data for Arena, because that's mostly what I play. In Pioneer Best of 3, not a ton of data. You Pioneer players need to play more. But Mono Red Aggro, both #1 in popularity and in win rate. In terms of Best of 1 in Pioneer, #1 in win rate is Esper Greasefang, followed by Rakdos Aggro, Boros Aggro, Mono Red Aggro, Azorius Control. And it looks like the Rakdos, what they call Rakdos Aggro, which is really Mono Red Aggro with that fling effect from Callous Sellsword. Those are neck and neck right at the top. Selesnya Angels, there's a popularity right behind. And pretty much neck and neck in terms of win rate. Yeah, it's like some fractions of a % difference there. Azorius Control. And looks like Is It Phoenix really not doing well in the current meta. So if you're a Phoenix player, maybe consider shifting to a new deck. And Pioneer Best of 1. And we'll as long as we're talking about Pioneer, let's keep all the data together. Do you like it when I group the data, or do you like it when I just go through one site's data and then another site's data? Let me know. Pioneer metagame, Mono Red Aggro, Rakdos mid-range. Is It Phoenix? They still have it #3. Selesnya Angels, Azorius Control. And let's just see if Phoenix has won anything recently. It did get first place in a Pioneer Challenge, so maybe Phoenix's days are not as over, at least in Best of 3. And moving on to Alchemy. Looks like Boros has the highest win rate and some pretty low win rates here in Alchemy. Usually see the 60% win rates in Alchemy. And Orzhov is the most popular. In Historic, there's some high win rates. 64.2% for Boros Energy, followed closely by Boros Auras, 63.8%. Cruel Eldrazi, 61%. Selesnya Devotion, 60.8%. Simic Eldrazi, 60.6%. Rakdos Aggro, 60.3%. 4-color Food. Is it Wizards? A lot of decks you could be ranking up with if you play Historic. It looks like we have a decent amount of data here. Mono Green Elves not having a good time. It's kind of descending in win rate. Maybe Gruul Eldrazi is a little bit on the rise. Kind of hard to tell here. Like Boros Energy, people are figuring out how to fight that. Mono White Life Gain kind of coming up. Although Mono White Life Gain, even as it gains in win rate, is losing in popularity. So that is in Historic. In Timeless, they have printed Strip Mine into Timeless. So it sounds kind of crazy right now. Looks like 4-color Show and Tell and 5-color Oops All Spells are still the most popular. But in terms of winning Mardu Energy and Boros Energy, just play aggro, I guess. 65.4% and 64.8%. Although 4-color Show and Tell also above 60% win rate with 61.2%. All those should rank you up pretty quick. I'm guessing the games that you play with the Boros Energy decks are faster, so that will rank you up the fastest if you play Timeless. And in Historic Brawl, number 1 in popularity is Vivi, number 1. Ugin, Eye of Storms, followed by Sephiroth, Titha. So none of the new commanders? Interesting. No new commanders from Edge of Eternities are number the top 8 here. That's kind of amazing. I put out a Ragast deck. Ragast is not very competitive. You will never see Ragast in the win rate section over here. The little lobster that throws the food at people. It looks like it should be from Unfinity. But in terms of win rate, it's a Tifa. It's the week of Tifa, as I'm calling it in the thumbnail. 64.3%. The Tifa dominating in Historic Brawl. People like these ramp decks. Look at like Azusa, both popular and winning here. What else is popular and winning? Codis at number 8 on both lists. Atali at number 7 on both lists. Kefka, popular but does not win. But I haven't made a Kefka Brawl deck tech, so if you guys want to see that, I feel like Kefka has shown some staying power. Might be worth making one. Checking out what people like Kefka. Of course, Rusko. People just scoop to Rusko because they're sick of playing Rusko. So hard to know if that's a real win rate or not. You can always go to the Brawl Hub where people play Brawl competitively in actual tournaments and see what's winning there. And Rusko is usually a competitor there, but I haven't seen any recent tournament results from the Brawl Hub. What's going on with their current season? All right, let's switch over and let's take a look at Modern. In Modern, Mono Red Aggro, boy, 27.5% of the win rate. And let's look at a recent 5-0 list. 4 Heartfire Heroes, 2 Higher Claws. So it's just like what got banned from Standard. 4 Emberheart Challengers, 4 Manifold Mouse. The whole mouse package is really strong. I mean, Screaming Nemesis, Sunspire Lynx. They just got 1 Bone Crusher Giant in terms of creatures. All that's left is just 1 Bone Crusher Giant. Man, I remember when this creature came out and I was just like, what, this is way too powerful. Obviously, in the mana base in Modern, you can run Den of the Bugbear and Ramanap Ruins and Sokenzen, but you also have 4 Rockface Village and 4 Mutavaults. And spells, Burst Lightning, Monstrous Rage, 2 Reckless Rage, 2 Lightning Strike. Interestingly, went with 2 Lightning Strike there. And 4 Kumano faces Kakazan. Why did you thought it was Kazakan? Kakazan. Just sounds wrong. Yeah, really, if you're sad because Heartfire Hero and Monstrous Rage got banned, you can just go play Modern, I guess. You don't have to do that many changes to the deck to make a Modern competitive deck. Look at this, only $137 in paper. 40.22 ticks on MTG Online. And what else is winning this week in Modern? Obviously, if you like Modern metagame, highly recommend Doomwake on YouTube. Does a whole metagame breakdown that focuses heavily on Modern. And I don't really play Modern, although I like to keep an eye on it. Hammer Time is interesting to see that up here in the top 10. I've got a Pioneer Hammer Time deck with Cloud I've been playing, but I haven't made a video for. So I think Cloud has definitely bolstered the Hammer Time strategies. And what else can we look at? Let's see what's going on. Popper, Blue Terror, Madness Burn, Jund Wildfire, Spy combo. Obviously, there were some big Popper tournaments a week or two ago. It looks like actually a pretty big one here. CCG Floripa. Oh, no, well, okay, 27 decks. Grixis aggro won that. And yeah, just a nice metagame in Popper and Legacy. Dimir Reanimator, far and away the most popular. And I did see a graph on Blue Sky, I think, of Dimir Reanimator's wins and how it's just accumulating so many more 5-0s in the last month. So that's Legacy. And Vintage, Mono White Initiative, Jewel Shops, and Esper Lures Control, and Lures PO, and Dimir Lures Control. A lot of stuff. Dredge, all kind of similar win rate. There's that. Penny Dreadful, Dual Commander. Is there anything for Commander? Oh, yes, Hearthhole, which I'm working on a deck list of as we speak. It looks like Ragost close behind in terms of how they do Commander on MTG Goldfish. So that's the metagame this week. We'll go back to standard best of one and kind of leave it here. Maybe we'll let's look at Temur Battle Crier. This is a 67% win rate deck. See if there's something there to that. Anybody have any comments or requests? No comments or requests yet. So 2 devastating onslaughts. That's kind of fun. So it's like kind of a ramp deck. Torch the Tower, Land of War Elves, Abrade, Esper Origins, Lumbering World Wagon, Outcaster Trailblazer, Temur Battle Crier. This is spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. And then the Roaming Throne. Okay. Cactus Folk Sure Shot. Oh yeah. I've definitely played against this deck. And 1 Roxanne. 3 Anti-Causal Vestiges. It's a good way to get a cheap giant creature onto the battlefield, making use of Starting Town, 4 of those. Breeding Pool, 4 Breeding Pool, 4 Stomping Ground. We have 5 of the 10 shock lands now in Standard, so it's definitely powering up the decks that can make use of them. Like this one, getting 2 out of the 3 that they would want, I suppose. Yeah. Looks pretty fun. 78% on the play, 46% on the draw. So don't play this deck on the play, I guess. They ranked right up to Mythic. The skip there, so they might have been playing on their phone. No telling if they were playing this deck, although it looks like it was ranking up pretty well. Now in Mythic, they're having some struggles. And let's see, what other decks? Look at a 73% win rate mono red aggro deck. What does that look like? 4 Bolt Waves, 4 Burst Lightning, 4 Clockwork Percussionist, 4 Fanatical Firebrand. So just keeping with haste creatures, you lose the prowess creature. 2 Plasma Bolts, 4 Shocks. Interesting. 1 Emberheart Challenger, 1 Heartfire Immolator. There's a prowess creature. 4 Lightning Strikes, 4 Slick Shot Show-Offs, 3 Ball Lightnings. Oh yeah. 4 Screaming Nemesis, and 21 lands, 18 of the mountains, 3 of them Rockface Villages. And that has a 80% on the play, 69% on the draw. What's the average? Does it have an average play time? Usually mono red decks have a the average amount of play for the games, I guess is not shown on this, but usually mono red is quite fast, which is a great way to rank up. So if you're looking for a mono red list, this could be the one. Anything else? We got a Jeskai deck that's got a 72% win rate. Let's take a look at that. I gotta watch my time. I don't have too much time to make videos for you all today. 61% of the play, 54% on the draw with this version. Much less impressive. So this is a Jeskai Artifacts, 4 Authority of the Consoles, 4 Cryogen Relics, which is the new draw token orb thing. Simulacrum Synthesizer, United Battlefront, the Fire Crystal. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if I've seen Fire Crystal in these decks. It gives creatures you control haste, so once you make some giant stuff with Simulacrum Synthesizer out, you just haste and win. Doesn't get hit by United Battlefront. Interesting. And the mana base, kind of just relying on Flood Farm, Verge, Meticulous Archive, and Starting Town. All right, well, that could be a fun one to do as well. I don't think I've done one of these Simulacrum Synthesizer decks in a while. There's been a lot of new cards like Pinnacle Star Cage to show off. So that could be another one I could do this week. You all let me know in the comments what you want to see on the channel. And with that, I think I'll sign it off. Here, I'll switch in case people just joined. Here's the data for standard best of 1. I'll sign it off with that. This has been Manadad reminding you magic is a game so fun.